This is the Necromancer Spirit Bar. I'm going to adjust the brightness here so that way it can be read. And so it starts at 0 and it goes all the way up to 14 at the max. That's the maximum amount of souls that you can hold on to. Once you get to level 4, then it gives you the ability. Oof, come on, camera. Alright, so once you get to level 4, it gives you the ability so that way you can spend 1 mana, and that'll give you 1 additional sword while you're fighting, which will help increase your damage. Once you get to level 8, then all your defense gets 1 additional blue die, and I will show you what that means once I show what the dice do. And then if you can max it out and get it to 14, as long as it's at level 14, then all of your attacks get 1 additional yellow or 1 additional orange dice. And if you would be gaining any more souls beyond 14 souls, instead it'll give you mana. And so you can increase your mana that way. And so in the middle here, what that is saying that's not really helping. Okay. Well, what it's saying is if you defeat a miniature, then you get +1 soul. If you defeat any of the leaders, you get +2 souls. And if you defeat a roaming monster, you get +4 souls. So it's pretty easy to understand how your character works when you're looking at the deck itself. I'm working on building an extension so that way when you guys are hanging out with me in chat, you can pull up the characters and look at their different abilities and look at how their decks work. And so that's my current project that I'm working on now. This is a soul token, and this is how the Necromancer tracks their souls, so they can keep track of how many they have. So it starts at 0 and then moves up depending on what you killed or how many souls that you have. The Necromancer also has the ability to raise the dead, because that's what Necromancers do, of course. And so they have spirit icons that you would put underneath an enemy unit. And so, let's say you defeated the flame minions and you wanted to bring the leader back and control him. You would put the leader on top of one of your spirit tokens to show that this leader is now under your control. And so now, when you're playing, you can use this leader at your discretion. And if you defeated a roaming monster and you wanted to bring one of the stronger guys back, they have bigger spirit tokens, so that way the bigger guys can still fit. And so they did a really awesome job in finding ways to make the Necromancer look cool aesthetically. Now, normally they can also summon minions, and so there's a enemy unit called skeletons, and if they just raise a skeleton, that's what a raised skeleton would look like normally. I'm going to be painting these guys here next week. And so that's the skeleton minion. And then this is a skeleton leader. Alright, so the latest Necromancer that we just did yesterday is Harriet. This is who we painted yesterday. She's got her bag of heads. And she's pretty awesome. And it's been a while since we've seen the others, and so I will reintroduce them. The first one is going to be Mortimer. That's who we painted most recently before Harriet. And so Mortimer, he's got more of a brown aesthetic, whereas Harriet had a green aesthetic. Mortimer, he's a grumpy old man. And then we have Igraine, who's kind of giving Wicked Witch of the West. And so Igraine, actually, you know what she looks like? She looks like the Witch of the Waste from oh goodness, come on, camera. What is that movie called? House Moving Castle. Yeah, she looks like the Witch of the Waste from House Moving Castle before she got all melty. That's Igraine.